I don't imagine you're suggesting reversing the sexual revolution and disappearing the pill and contraceptives, are you?
No, I'm talking about renorming society in a more reasonable direction, which we do all the time. I mean, human beings do learn from mistakes. And one of the prime examples of this is what's happened with tobacco smoking over the last 60 years. And I say this not to knock smokers, but everybody knows there's been a sea change. Everybody knows that decades of evidence about the negative effects of this substance made it easier for people to quit and made it more stigmatized than it had been. Tobacco use indoors is very stigmatized, at least in the United States. And all of this was the result of empirical evidence eventually filtering down to individual decisions. And that, I think, is what needs to happen with the sexual revolution, because the costs of it are not only, on the individual level of romance, and not only in our increasingly untethered woke politics, but also the shrinkage of the family and the fracturing of the family has raised the costs of the welfare state across the Western world. The state has had to come in and be that substitute daddy. The state simultaneously bankrolls the broken family and has to. So these are pretty major consequences that affect the most advanced economies of the world in every single country. So we're not talking about private consensual transactions here. And that's what's really ironic to me in the long run, is that everybody says this is only about private decisions, right? Sexual matters are completely off the table. We can't talk about this stuff. It's all private and it's all about consent. And yet nothing has done as much to transform our world as this revolution has, socially, politically, as I mentioned in Primal Screams, psychologically and otherwise. So it's something we probably ought to look at, it seems to me.